Now, how to overcome social anxiety. Now, when you go out socially, you have this inner fear like, what if other people might judge you for whatever you're doing? What if other people talk something about you? Now, social anxiety is nothing but your internal fears coming up to the surface. And suddenly, when you actually go back and think about it, everybody else has social anxiety. Alright, if you're not alone. And when you go out in public, of course, you will have that feeling like you're all alone and people are here to judge you. Guess what? Everybody else has the same fear of being judged. Everybody else has the same fear of, showing themselves or going out and putting themselves out in public, expressing their opinions. And it's not like the fear of being judged, it's like the fear of being shamed. Because you're like, okay, you get judged in the initial stages, but the end point is you think that you'll be shamed for whatever you're about to tell. You think that you will be, made fun of. And that is why you have this fear of, expressing yourself out in public. I mean, of course, it's not like you are completely isolated. It's not like you are completely introverted. Nobody is 100% introverted. Everybody opens up to certain people. It's not like you can be without anybody in the world. We as human beings are social creatures, all right? So when you think that you are completely introverted and you kind of shut yourself off from the world, what you're basically doing is you're kind of closing the only barrier that you have that kind of forms connection with other human beings. So when it comes to social anxiety, right, you think that this is the one which is blocking me from, expressing myself out there and, making new connections, making new friends. And you're like, okay, I will just, not make new friends. I will not go and put myself out there because I have social anxiety. Now, once you learn that, okay, everybody else are just same as you or having the same human emotional experience as you do, everybody else feels the same things on the inside. Everybody else feel that they will be judged if they put themselves out there. Everybody else has the same fear of judgment, same fear of being shamed. Once you understand that, it puts you more at ease. And once you're more at ease, you'll have this idea of somewhat opening up because, look, all right, just because you say you are introverted and you don't open up, whenever there's a meetup, whenever you guys, you and your friends get together, whenever, you have the opportunity to stand out, or when you're in public, you don't have this ability to express yourself. But you have that one specific person, let's say your best friend or your partner or your girlfriend, boyfriend, where you completely let yourself out. You're so comfortable talking with them. That's the reason. The reason is you've created a comfortable barrier, a barrier of comfort. And when there's a barrier of comfort, you trust them. All right. When you trust them, you have this confidence that they will not judge you for who you are. Because initially, when you met them for the first time, you obviously had this anxiety. You obviously had this, this fear of being judged. And slowly that relationship developed. And now you are more open. You're more, interested in showing yourself, like literally putting yourself out there. But, when it comes to a new person, you're unable to actually express your true self. You're unable to open your true self up because you have that fear. Okay, what if they might judge me? Right? You have that fear, the deep rooted, that inner voice that kind of comes up, creeps up inside your head, and like, hey, they might judge you. And then you're like, oh my God, I must not, put myself out there. Guess what? I will be judged so bad. And then you're like, I will just shut myself off. Now, that one specific person who you are comfortable with, you have developed that sense of comfort that it gives you security. Okay, you can express yourself. You feel safe on the inside, and then you do so. All right. Now, this is one analogy here. You have this friend, this best friend, who you're expressing your opinions, you're expressing your true self with. But then, you're like, how do I express myself always without just depending on my friend? All right. And the core reason why you are unable to express yourself on the outside is due to certain situations or events that have happened in the past that made you feel or made you experience that fear of judgment. Maybe as a kid, all right. If you look at kids, right, they don't have this fear of being judged. They, like most of them, like majority of them, even when you were in kindergarten, you did not have the fear of being judged. You did not have that fear, like, oh my God, they might shame me. And social anxiety was pretty much non-existent. Of course, you were shy, but shy is different from social anxiety. When you were shy, you were just shy for a minute, but then you have the ability to express yourself. All right. But over the series of you growing up, your environment, maybe your school, maybe your parents, maybe your home, made you feel ashamed for expressing your true self. All right. Let's see, for example, you were in the classroom and you said something that you wanted to say, you wanted to answer something to the teacher, and then suddenly the teacher called you a dumb idiot. Now that would have had an imprint in your brain like, oh my God, if I express myself, maybe I will be shamed. And once you have that experience, it's like first-hand trauma because as a kid, all you know is your home and school. All right, these two places are your entire world. And if you have been shamed in any of these places, if you did not feel safe while you were being your true self, guess what? You would make up some, a mask, a personality which does not belong to you. You're trying to impress other people, tick some check boxes in order for you to feel safe, in order for you to kind of express yourself in a given way where the other person doesn't judge you. Now, all of these issues would kind of become a snowball, pile up like a snowball, and they would just be there on the inside, and it is still running you. That is why you have this social anxiety where you're unable to express the true opinions, unable to be your true self. And you're so afraid of being your true self that you would rather lie about a person who's not you. You would lie about something else than put your true self out there, because that is being driven by your inner traumatic self. As a kid, if you did not feel safe, as a kid, if you did not feel appreciated whenever you expressed yourself, and moreover, if you were shamed, if you were bullied for being your true self, guess what? When you grow up, you will develop social anxiety. You'll be scared to even open up things about yourself. Let's say, for example, you go out with your friends and they order something now that you guys want to eat or drink, and you don't even have that ability to say, I do not want this, I want the other thing. That is because you fear being judged, you fear abandonment. Because internally, as a kid, you're like, okay, if I don't impress them, what if they abandon me? The fear of abandonment starts all of these issues. This fear of abandonment is so deep rooted into our human selves. Like we would do anything than be abandoned. That is why, you see people going from one toxic relationship to another. They still are in that same toxic relationship. Let's say, their partner is toxic. They do not leave the partner because this feels comfortable, this feels familiar, and they have that fear of being abandoned, of being single, being lonely again. They'd rather stay in an abusive relationship than be lonely. All right. Now, I know it sounds kind of messed up. It sounds kind of, deep, but this is the truth. The only way you can overcome your social anxiety is to address these root issues that happened in your childhood that prevented you from expressing your true self. Right? You have to identify like what really happened. What is the reason that you are unable to express your true self? Is it because your parents shamed you for being an extroverted kid, for being this overly energetic, passionate, adventurous kid? Or did your teachers, your school kind of shame you? Or, society? Did society tell you like, oh my God, if you express yourself like that, you will not be appreciated? And that fear of abandonment kind of just builds up on the inside. And now, you have this crippling social anxiety. You don't really feel like talking to anybody. You just want to shut yourself in this, this cozy prison that you have built around yourself. You just built these invisible four walls and you have chained yourself instead of addressing the root issue. You think by avoiding people, you're going to somehow be safe, but actually, you avoiding your emotions kind of brings up more problems than you can ever imagine. So all you need to do to overcome social anxiety is number one, just accept the fact that everybody feels the same anxiety that you feel. All of us, have that inner voice that says, what if this other person doesn't like me? You can never get rid of the voice. All right, that's the truth. But the thing is, you can navigate how you react to this. All right? It's not like you will be loved by everybody, because if you are not hated by anybody, that means you are not really loved by anybody. So when you actually put your personality out there, of course, there will be people who hate you for who you are, but there will also be people who love you truly for who you are. All right. And for that to happen, you must not have this crippling social anxiety that's kind of blocking you from putting your true self out there, from actually meeting genuine people who love you for who you are. And of course, you will shoo away the haters. People who hate you will leave very quick. And it is so much more easier to find better friends because imagine like you're putting a fake personality outside and people have seen the fake you. If you have been displaying the fake you just because you have social anxiety, guess what? Why would people, how can you expect the other person to not be fake with you? If you are being fake to them, how can you expect the other person to not be fake with you? Let that resonate inside your mind. So all I'm saying here is, to overcome social anxiety, accept the fact that everybody feels the same thing, and then you have to go treat the cause for what made you feel so much pressure when you are expressing yourself. Of course, all of this stems from childhood trauma, the experiences you have been through in your childhood as a kid while you were growing up in your environment and society. You have to go there, let go of the trauma, just heal from that and reprogram yourself and just put yourself out there. Be your true authentic self. And while being a true authentic self, of course, you cannot be a douchebag if you are originally a douchebag. Of course, there's some character development that you have to do out there, but still, all right, you should know balance. You should know how to play. You must know social dynamics. You must know when to put the pressure on, when to take off the pressure. And that happens only if you first let go of this inner blockage, heal from your childhood trauma, and then put yourself out there authentically while keeping all these social dynamics into play.